It's a numbers game, batting average, ERA, streaks of success, streaks of failure. NC State's Evan Mendoza is on a hot streak that everybody's talking about. Ken Medlin tells the story.
Evan Mendoza has been an offensive dynamo for NC State. He's hitting .380 in the midst of a 20-game hitting streak, a huge reason why the Pack has been camped out in college baseball's top 10.
This season I've really prided myself in just grinding out every day, making sure I'm doing something every day to better my baseball skills.
And talk about skills, Mendoza's success is even more impressive when you consider how rarely he saw the field last season. Used primarily as a pitcher, Mendoza had a grand total of 3 at-bats without a single hit.
He just came to me, last spring, and he started out in the rotation. And he can't, Coach, I just can't pitch it once a week. He said, I want to play.
The answer was a spot in the infield. Mendoza was State's opening day starter at third base, and once he got his chance to play every day, he made the most of it.
You have to be patient in this game. Not everything's going to happen right then and there when you want it to. That's something that I think this past year has taught me.
There's an old joke in baseball that a player hitting below 200 is below the Mendoza line. That's named for Mario Mendoza, a light-hitting shortstop back in the 70s. NC State's Evan Mendoza is redefining the Mendoza line, raising the bar a lot closer to 400. Ken Medlin, WRAL Sports, Raleigh.
It's a numbers game, batting average, ERA, streaks of success, streaks of failure. NC State's Evan Mendoza is on a hot streak that everybody's talking about. Ken Medlin tells the story.
Evan Mendoza has been an offensive dynamo for NC State. He's hitting .380 in the midst of a 20-game hitting streak, a huge reason why the Pack has been camped out in college baseball's top 10.
This season I've really prided myself in just grinding out every day, making sure I'm doing something every day to better my baseball skills.
And talk about skills, Mendoza's success is even more impressive when you consider how rarely he saw the field last season. Used primarily as a pitcher, Mendoza had a grand total of 3 at-bats without a single hit.
He just came to me, last spring, and he started out in the rotation. And he can't, Coach, I just can't.
All right, welcome in to another episode of the Mendoza Line. I am your host, Evan Mendoza. I played 7 years of professional baseball between the St. Louis Cardinals and the San Diego Padres. And welcome into another episode of the Mendoza Line. As you guys know, one of my very favorite things to do is move this guy over to the next day. Today is day number 41 of streaming every single day at 7 p.m. Weekdays. Every single day on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. We are live, guys, and hopefully your week is starting off on the right foot. Guys, if you do have any baseball-related questions, feel free to always ask me. We are streaming weekdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, but let's get right into everything. By the way, if this is the very first time you've ever come across my page, if this is the first ever Mendoza Line that you've ever joined into, guys, feel free to just simply... all you got to do is put the baseball emoji down below in the chat, just so I know that this is a first-time viewer. So that way I can make sure that I can really just help you out, open you up to the world of the Mendoza Baseball Academy, and hopefully you understand how valuable these lives are. Again, especially coming from someone that's actually lived it, walked through the steps of where you or your son wants to go. So again, let's get right into today's, yo, Trayson, how we doing, my man? How we doing? I think we got you set up, Trey, for later in the month to get you started. So looking forward to that. But yeah, guys, let's do the first segment, which I think you guys are absolutely in love with, especially with like taking into account some of the social media metrics that we've been looking at. You guys have been really loving the this or that. So let's get into it once again. All right, this or that, power hitter versus contact hitter. So I'm a little bit biased here because I was a contact hitter throughout my college and professional career. I only had about 20 career home runs in 7 years of professional baseball. And at the college level, I think I had somewhere around like 12 or 14 in my 2 years that I played a position there. So if I had to honestly pick one right now in the way that the game is playing, power hitting is definitely one of the tools that college coaches and professional scouts are really looking forward to, because not many players develop that power tool. So you're kind of a unicorn if you have that power capabilities, especially at a younger age. Now, for me, I think it's always important to develop the contact skills first, and then hopefully that power aspect will come into your game later. It is typically a little bit more difficult going from a power hitter to a contact hitter because usually it's more of a mindset shift, especially with a contact with 2 strikes. Like, for example, I was a great 2-strike hitter to be able to foul off great pitches, pitcher's pitches, so that way I can live to see another pitch. But ultimately, that contact ability is more of a mindset with like 2-strike approach. Now, if you're a power hitter, you don't typically have as good of a 2-strike approach because you're swinging for the fences more times than not. But again, if I had to choose one in 2026 on a tool set on my playing profile, I would probably choose the power hitting side of things, and especially having a good exit velocity that will showcase really well at showcases and evaluation events. All right, that was the first one. We're gonna just kind of like hammer away this or that's because this is something that, again, you guys have been loving, especially on short form, on like reels, on things like that. Let's see. This is a good one. All right, this or that, MLB playoffs or the World Baseball Classic. And this is such a difficult one, and especially since the World Baseball Classic is going on right now. I was lucky enough to be part of the World Baseball Classic in 2023 with Team Colombia, which is where my dad's from. It was a very unique and fun experience, of course, representing the nationality of where my dad was born and raised. I would have to say the World Baseball Classic just because, like, I've only been to one other playoff game, and that was at Camden Yards with the Orioles going against the Royals. I think this was like in 2014 or something like that. And I know the atmosphere was electric. Obviously, everyone was really excited, but there's nothing that compares to the passion of the fans at a World Baseball Classic game. And speaking from also just World Baseball Classic, the opening game that we had in 2023, Colombia played against Team Mexico. We actually beat Mexico. They were very good that year, but the atmosphere was absolutely electric. It felt like we were quite literally in the middle of an earthquake because the whole stadium was quite literally shaking. I have never been in that type of environment ever before. So I'm going to say World Baseball Classic. No, I'm not biased because it's going on right now. I just honestly think that atmosphere was unreal, unmatched, and especially that the passion that the fans have, I think it's just unmatched. So World Baseball Classic, hands down. All right. We're moving along. What are your guys' take on that? Like, of course, the World Baseball Classic games are going on right now. I'm kind of curious. Are you guys more World Baseball Classic or what? We got Caleb Chandler. This is the first time you're in here. Let's go. Welcome in. If you're still in here, who's that? Caleb Chandler. Feel free to ask questions. Like, I'm doing segments right now of like this or that. Because I like to post some of these pieces of content over on like Instagram Reels and things like that, just because it's a fun way to get people into these lives. But yeah, guys, if you have like individual baseball specific questions, one thing I always love to do, and I always welcome you to do, is give me information about who you are as a player. So what I need, if we're going to do what I call a player profile, by the way, if you're a player or parent, feel free to drop down some of these, the information so I can best inform you guys on what you should be focusing on, what maybe is holding you back. But ultimately, I need your graduation year. I need to know what positions you play. I need to know your 60 time. I need to know your arm velocity. and I need to know your exit velocity. Guys, a lot of high school baseball players don't know these things. And if you don't know these things, that is quite literally the bottleneck in what is going on. Recruiting is not the bottleneck for you guys. Physical development is not the bottleneck. You quite literally need to know these key baseline metrics to be able to see, again, progression up and to the right? Without knowing these baselines, where we're at currently today, we're going to have a very difficult time doing that. So hopefully that makes sense. And if you don't know, like for example, what your 60-yard dash time, guys, run quite literally 60 yards in a straight line. That's all you have to do for the 60-yard dash. So if you know any of these metrics, feel free to drop them down below in the chat, so that way I can do a little bit of like a player profile on you or on your son. But let's get back into some this or that's. Oh, we got Dylan. Let's get into Dylan. We got a 2028. Let's actually do a little recording on this. All right, we got Dylan. We got an outfielder. We got a 2028 who is exit velocity 97, 7.0, and a 72 arm. So yeah, being a 2028 dude, it's your sophomore year. Being an outfielder, we need to be able to throw to the bases. We need to be able to have that arm to be able to showcase to these coaches that we can throw players out or runners out. Having a 7.060 is actually pretty solid for a sophomore. Way quicker than what I was my sophomore year. And you definitely want to be able to track fly balls out there in the outfield. Having a 97 exit velocity, that is elite, dude. That's really, really solid. I will say the biggest thing for you in particular is that arm, right? 72, we need ideally around sophomore year. This is where we want to be in like the low 80s if possible. If we can get to the low 80s our sophomore year, we have the projections of around senior year getting closer to that 90. And ideally, if you're around that 90-mile-an-hour mark by senior year, this is when college coaches will really take you seriously. So yeah, ideally around sophomore year, we're about 10 miles an hour off on our arm velo right now. So just keep that in mind, Dylan, with what you've got going on. I would definitely incorporate a lot more rotational baseball-specific strength exercises in the weight room, so that way we can address that. But of course, we don't want to completely neglect the 7.060. We want to keep driving that down. Ideally, if you're an outfielder by sophomore, I mean, you are a sophomore, by junior or senior year, if we can get that down to like a 6.6, which is blazing fast, by the way, that's going to really put you into the not just outfielder, but it's going to put you into the center fielder category because you're a really good athlete. You're running the bases really well. You have a good 60 time. You have a good exit velocity. And of course, if we can have that arm velo at least get closer to 90 around senior year, you're going to be in a really good position. Hopefully that helps, Dylan. I appreciate you, chiming in with your playing profile data. I think I've seen your name before in the chat before, so I appreciate you joining in and interacting here today. But yeah, let's get into some more this or that's because I want to make sure that I cover some of those as we got everything going on. All right. Walk off or yeah, absolutely, Dylan. And stick around. If you're, I'm curious, you're probably the player. But dude, stick around, tell your parents, join in, have them ask some questions. Of course, you being a sophomore, dude, I will say right now, for whatever reason, I am talking to a lot of sophomores on eligibility reviews because typically this is the time where like your summer that you're about to have is pretty important to propel you into like not necessarily draft boards, but recruiting boards for, big time schools. And especially because August 1st is about 4 months away or something like that. You want to get the traction on the recruiting side, especially if you have those numbers. Like, let's get that arm velo up. But again, with reaching out to these college coaches, just because you don't have good metrics today doesn't mean we can't reach out to these college coaches. So Dylan, tell your parents, have them join in, watch this, share this over with them. If they're nearby, go grab them for a second. Ideally, the next step, if you guys are interested in working one-on-one with me in my remote training program, is a Zoom call directly with myself. So you can schedule that in the link in my bio on my website. But let's get into another this or that. All right, this or that, walk off, hit, or strike out the side. So I got to do kind of both of these. So in high school and even my freshman year of college, I was a pitcher. I was a two-way player. I pitched and I played infield, mostly third base and shortstop. Or would I rather to do a walk-off hit? So in college, for example, I had a walk-off single against Duke on a Friday night. It was electric. I remember my teammates, for whatever reason, we had donuts in the dugout, and they shoved them all over my face. I didn't even know what happened because I was getting mobbed basically after the fact. In pro ball, I also had, I think, like 2 or 3, no, actually probably closer to 3 or 4 walk-offs. One was in spring training on the last day of Cardinal spring training in 2019, which was electric. It was a really good way to end off spring training. I would say there's nothing that gets the entire squad more excited than a walk-off hit. So hands down, walk-off. I would much rather a walk-off than striking out the side. All right. We are cruising along. Guys, again, if you have any baseball-related questions, feel free to ask. I'm getting some content in that you guys will probably see over on, social media and all. So let's see. Ooh. Bat flip or no Sully? All right. I need to hear. Come on, guys. Like, sound it off. What do you guys got? Bat flip or no celebration? Which one we got? All right. This is going to be a fun one. This or that, bat flip or no celly. So in my opinion, with the game, how it is moving right now, guys, have fun. Do a bat flip. Enjoy yourself when you barrel up a pitch. The one thing that I want you to keep in mind, though, is understand what that line is and do not cross the line, right? So basically, what I mean by don't cross the line, guys, don't throw your bat into outer space when you hit a single, right? Let's just be honest. It's not that important. We don't want to do that, right? So I was more of like, let's be honest, I didn't really ever bat flip. I did more of like a no celly because I wanted to always perceive people that watched me like I've done this before and it's not that big of a deal. And especially a lot of my defensive highlights that you guys have probably seen, whether it's on Instagram, YouTube, whatever the case may be, of my time playing shortstop and making some, helicopter backhanded spin plays and turning double plays and having just a lot of fun, bare hand, whatever the case may be. I wanted to like look like that was the easiest thing I ever did, right? So just keep that in mind, guys. Like if you want to make it known that like this is such a crazy thing that you've done, like yeah, throw your bat, do all the fun stuff. Or what I think is equally as cool, and this is just the way that I played. Again, the way that I played was more of like that no celly approach. But like the way I played was like, hey, I've done this a million times. I'm not gonna act like I've done it for the very first time. But no, with like I love seeing kids having fun with the game, within the game of baseball, and ultimately like doing bat flips. Like I love seeing it. I just wasn't that type of player who was super outgoing that wanted to do that or really craved that attention. But again, with the today's age, I would prefer everyone bat flips. Everyone has a lot of fun. Pitchers also, fist pump when they get a big strikeout. I love seeing that passion within the game of baseball. No celly, Evan. I'm curious on why, but I understand. How were you when I was in middle school, Trey? I was very average. Like even in high school, guys, I was probably like the 3rd or 4th best player on my team. I never hit a home run on a big field until my sophomore year of college. Just putting that in perspective, sophomore year of college was my first ever big field home run. I never hit a home run on a big field until sophomore year of college. Yeah. How fast was I in middle school? As far as like running speed, very slow. I ran a 9.5 second 60 my freshman year of college. My freshman year of high school, 9.5, and I got that down to a 7.4. My fastest ever in pro ball when we ran a 60 time, which was only once, believe it or not, I ran a 6.97. That was the first time I cracked into the sixes, and I was mostly a shortstop, guys. So 60-yard dash was like my big thing with the 60-yard dash was like I was right here, like halfway through the 30, and right here I usually like regressed in speed, if that makes sense, right? Like I got up to peak speed, but then I got like right here and then I was just like slowly getting slower, right? What ideally should happen is you like are constantly getting faster the whole way through, and I was never good like that. So yeah, but like right here, this is where ideally I got fast really quick, whereas some people take time to get fast, right? So like my lateral quickness to get to top speed was actually really high. So that's why my 5.10.5 was really good. That's why I was good to be able to have good first step quickness, get to balls in the hole, playing shortstop. That's why. But the 6-yard dash, in my opinion, it's not the most like intuitive metric to give you overall athleticism. It is something that gives an understanding. And it is something I wish I focused on sooner in middle school. So that way I didn't have to go through the struggles I did in high school. I just realized I meant to say 75, 76, not 72. Oh, wait. Okay, cool. I thought you meant about your exit velocity being 97. No, dude. So, I mean, if you're 75, 76, that's not terrible. You're not too far off. If ideally we can get to that low 80s by like the end of summer, that will be putting you in a good position to be able to keep progressing. What was your favorite baseball team all time? I just grew up an Orioles fan because I was born in Baltimore. Yeah, let's get back into it, guys. All right. All right, now, okay, let's do big screen. Strength training versus skill. I like this conversation. This topic is a good one. Because a lot of people just focus on one or the other. All right, this or that, strength training versus skill training. So first and foremost, we need to understand what each of these really truly mean. So if you're a high school baseball player and you're doing strength training, typically that means anything that's in the gym. Pretty standard. That's what strength training is. Plyometrics, any type of explosive work, any type of rotational work would be ideal. So that way, when we are rotating, whether it's pitching, hitting, we are rotating more efficiently. As far as the skill work, this is anything quite literally with a baseball. So think hitting, pitching or throwing, fielding. That basically in a nutshell is baseball. That's like the definition of baseball: how well we can hit the ball, how well we can throw the ball, how well we can catch or field the ball, right? So when we're thinking about skill work, typically that's like hitting lessons, that's taking BP, fielding ground balls, team fundies, whatever the case may be, because that's a skill work. Now, as far as strength training, I would prefer you all, high school baseball players, are focusing more on strength training than skill. Guys, the skill will come if you have the strength. I promise you. Take 4 months out of the next calendar year, as long as you're not going to be a senior next year. Take 4 months out of the year. Do not play baseball and only focus on that strength training, and you will become a different baseball player. I can guarantee you this. Ideally, speaking from my experience, I was told the same thing and I didn't really realize it until, of course, I grew older. But I took away basically the entire summer in between my sophomore and junior year. The entire summer, I did not play baseball, really. I played like maybe 2 tournaments and that's it. In a whole summer, that's not a lot of games, right? But in an entire summer, guys, I focused on my development. I focused on my strength training leading into the fall as well. I kept that strength training going. So I had actually like a good 5 or 6 months of really getting after it in the gym, developing my strength, developing my explosiveness, developing my rotational speed. All of these things helped me become the player that got drafted. And of course, before that, earned multiple D1 offers and got that opportunity to choose where I wanted to play college baseball. It's not how good your email is, it's how well you focus on this area, which will help this area. Hopefully that helps, guys, because obviously strength training is so important, guys, for you high school baseball players. You don't realize truly how much it can impact your development, your future, quite literally. So just keep that in mind, guys. Just keep it in mind, please. Please, please, please. All right, let's see what else we've got. Okay, let's do this one. And then we'll be on our way. All right. And by the way, guys, if you have any baseball-related questions, feel free to ask. That's why I do these. I want to make sure that I'm giving you guys the best knowledge possible. All right, let's get into it. This or that, going to the gym or going to private lessons. So in my opinion, guys, private lessons, you should stop going to private lessons after like 6th or 7th grade. In my opinion, at that stage, you know how to hold a bat, you know how to throw a ball. There's no reason that you need to drive 20 to 30 minutes to go see an instructor and he's going to clap and tell you good job for hitting a line drive. If you are a serious high school baseball player, or if you are a serious player, you already know if you barrel up a ball, that feels good. You know you need to repeat that. And ideally, we need to do more reps more than anything. So in my opinion, you should never really be going to lessons if you're in high school. Like, yeah, some people need a hitting coach, but in my opinion, that's just telling yourself that you need someone to hold your hand as you cross the street. Guys, you need to learn how to become your own best coach, because at that college level, you're probably not going to bring your hitting coach and he's going to live with you in your dorm. If you get drafted, you're probably not going to bring your hitting coach with you from every minor league town whenever you're on a road trip. So understand that you are going to be stepping into the box by yourself. You need to understand the mental frameworks to overcome some of the struggles, but more importantly, create approach. And again, for you to become your own best coach. So that's the obvious answer: to go into the gym, focus on your focus on your physical development. So again, that way we have more power in our rotation, in our overall strength when it comes to baseball. All right, that was a solid one. Guys. By the way, guys, if you have any like this or that's, feel free to drop them down below in the chat, because I'm always curious on like if there's this or that you guys are contemplating. But yeah, let's see. This is a good one. All right. Who has thought about this one before? JUCO versus D2 versus D3. Has anyone thought about this one before? I'm sure you guys have. All right, let's get into it. Yeah, this is a pretty common one whenever I'm on these lives. Is a lot of people will go into this conversation about basically starting on one or the other. Anyway, this or that, going JUCO or going D2. Let's start that again. This or that, going JUCO or going D2 or D3. So in my opinion, guys, you shouldn't have the dream and the goal to play D3 or JUCO baseball. In my opinion, the biggest thing is like you're right here. There are these stars right here. I would much rather you shoot for the stars. In case you don't hit them, you might land on the clouds. That's quoting a famous Kanye West song, but more or less, that is an important mindset to have these big dreams and goals that should scare you without a doubt. Yes, so that means I would ideally want you to have those dreams and goals to play D1. So that way, if you don't play D1, you're playing D2, maybe D3, right? But if we have the dream to go JUCO, like what is below JUCO? There's not really anything. And in my opinion, JUCO, D3, NAIA, I group all those together. So there's really not anything else below JUCO. So in my opinion, you should, reach for this dreams, the stars, whatever you want to call it. And ideally, I would want you to go to D2, D3, because again, you have the possibility of having a breakout year. And then ideally, we could translate that over to a D1 program if you hit the transfer portal the right way, if you perform. But of course, it's going to be a lot harder of a jump sometimes going from JUCO directly to a D1, because usually D1s only, really are fishing out of the honey well of basically really good top tier JUCO programs. And just like, D1 through D3, it's the same idea in JUCO, kind of, right? They don't necessarily have the different division levels, but some programs are just elite that produce absolute studs, where other programs are kind of just not really known. So it's important to do your research beforehand, have an understanding of what your school list should look like, but then also have those dreams and goals to play D1. What's up? How we doing, Dylan? Stork, how we doing, my man? Did you go D1? Yeah, Trey. So I played at NC State University in Raleigh, North Carolina. But yeah, I played 3 years there from 2015 to 2017. And I got drafted in 2017 by the St. Louis Cardinals. And I was actually a pitcher my freshman year and then transitioned to a third baseman my sophomore year. I also hit 362 in the ACC against teams like UNC, Duke, Clemson, Wake Forest, Pitt, Boston College, Florida State, Miami. So 362 is what your boy hit my sophomore year. And that's after, by the way, guys, this is an important kind of aspect. My freshman year at NC State, I was more of a pitcher, but they gave me one start I was 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts my freshman year. That was my final stat line as a hitter my freshman year. Who would have thought by my sophomore year I was going to be hitting 362, and I was second team all ACC? Who would have thought? Not me. Like, honestly, not me. But I did tell people around me my freshman year when I was struggling, I said, I'm going to work so hard, I'm going to be the starting shortstop next year. I wasn't the starting shortstop, but I was the starting third baseman. But either way, I got that opportunity to show what I was all about. My bat spoke for itself. And ultimately, this year, my sophomore year, is what propelled me to get drafted by the St. Louis Cardinals. Like, I had such a solid year. My ball to bat skills was crazy. I only had 9 extra base hits. I played like 62 games. 9 extra base hits. Not many. I was not a big power hitter, as a lot of you guys know. And some of you guys have asked me so far. So just keep that in mind. Some players are going to develop a little bit later, some a little bit sooner, but we're a little bit late to the party. So I'm going to go ahead and roll one of the clips as far as what my program's all about. Guys, if you have any baseball related questions, feel free to ask in the chat, or if you have any baseball related questions about my program, how it works. I know, Trey, you're in here. You just spoke to us, or to myself yesterday, and I'm looking forward to getting you started later in the month. But guys, if you have any questions about what that process should look like or would look like, let's go ahead and watch this video. It's going to give you a better understanding.
Are you the parent of a high school baseball player dreaming of playing at the college level? Do you want to see your child's potential fully realized, but you feel like the road to getting noticed by college coaches is long, you're uncertain, and expensive? Well, if that's you, this video is going to show you exactly how you can help your child turn that dream into reality without wasting time on generic programs or pricey recruiting services. I'm Evan Mendoza, and for the past 7 years, I've played professionally between the St. Louis Cardinals and San Diego Padres. I've also played D1 ball at NC State while studying aerospace engineering. But here's the thing. I didn't get there by chance. And the players that I've helped along the way didn't get there by luck either. We followed a proven system. Take Ian, for example, who boosted his exit velocity and sprint speed after just a few weeks and just recently committed to play college baseball. Or like Hugo Sagasaki, who's training all the way from Japan, has been consistently improving his performance and has colleges from the US reaching out to him. I'm sharing these stories because this isn't just about making small improvements. It's about making real, measurable progress that leads to life-changing opportunities for your child. And I want you to experience the same results. Here's the harsh truth. Most high school baseball players never get noticed by college scouts. And the reason is because they get stuck in a cycle of generic training programs that don't address their specific needs or showcase their unique talents. They spend hours at the gym or on the field hoping for a breakthrough, but the results just don't come. And worse yet, they miss critical opportunities because they don't have a roadmap to get where they want to go. It's frustrating. You've supported your child through every game, every practice, but there's no clear path to standing out from the thousands of other athletes fighting for the same college spots. Maybe you felt this too, watching your child work hard every single day and still not getting the attention from college scouts. Maybe you've been to showcases and watched other players get offers while your child was being overlooked. Or perhaps you've been feeling the pressure to make the big leap in performance before your child's senior year, but you're not sure what needs to change. It's exhausting, right? Knowing your child has the potential, but not having the right support or strategy to make that leap. The truth is, college scouts don't just want a good player. They want someone who's prepared mentally, physically, and is also educated. Someone who stands out from the rest and can prove they've got what it takes. And I get it, I have been there. I played at the highest levels alongside guys like Manny Machado, Fernando Tatis, Yadier Molina, and even Albert Pujols. And one thing that sets apart those players isn't just their talent, it's how they prepare and position themselves for success. And that's exactly what I'm here to help your child with. I've developed the Triple Play system, a 6-month program designed specifically for your high school baseball player who wants to become a college prospect. This isn't just another training program. It's a complete roadmap tailored for your child's needs and goals. It's like having a personal coach, a mentor, a college advisor, and even a scout, all rolled up into one, guiding your child every step of the way. The Triple Play system breaks down into 3 core components. Their physical development. We focus on what your child needs to improve, whether it's increasing his exit velocity, refining his fielding skills, or improving his speed. Every weakness becomes a strength. His mental development. This game isn't just physical. it's mental too. We help him build the mindset and resilience needed to perform under pressure, especially when college scouts are watching. And lastly, the recruiting strategy. We'll create a personalized game plan to get your child noticed. From showcases to direct outreach, we'll ensure your child is on the radar to top colleges by the end of this program. So what does that mean for your child? It means real results. It means walking into their next showcase knowing they've made the measurable improvements. It means having a solid recruiting plan in place that pulls them in front of the right scouts at the right time. And most importantly, it means your child is no longer just another player. They're a top prospect. But beyond that, think about the pride that you'll feel when you hear your child's name called by a college coach offering a college scholarship. Imagine the look on their face when they see all their hard work finally paying off. And picture them stepping onto a college field, knowing they've earned that spot. This is more than just getting better at baseball. It's about securing your child's future, building their confidence, and creating opportunities that will shape the rest of their life. If you're ready to give your child the best shot at earning a college scholarship and becoming the player that scouts can't ignore, I'd love to talk with you personally. But here's the catch. We only work with a small number of athletes at a time because this program is highly personalized and one-on-one. That means spaces are limited. We open up just a few spots each month to parents who are serious about seeing real, measurable progress in their child's game. If you want to finally see your child stand out at showcases and attract the attention of college recruiters, then now is the time to act. Here's what I need you to do. Scroll down to the calendar below and book a call with me today. On this call, we'll go over your child's current challenges, their specific goals, and determine if they're even a good fit for the triple play system. And remember, we've helped over 50 athletes like your child improve their game and secure interest from college coaches. So if you want to be the next parent to see your child's hard work finally pay off, don't wait. These spots fill up fast, and once they're gone, I won't be opening up new ones until the next group finishes. If you're serious about giving your child the edge that they need to compete at the next level, scroll down and book a call with me now. This is your opportunity to change the course of your child's future. I'm looking forward to helping them become the player that college coaches are excited to recruit. But remember, this program is not for everyone. It's only for athletes who are ready to commit to making real progress and achieving real results. So if that's you and your child, book the call now. And I look forward to speaking with you soon.
All right, we are back and we're going to hit the ground running with some great this or that's, guys. And hopefully you guys have some fun with me on these. You guys aren't taking this too seriously, but let's get this started. All right, this or that, daddy ball or playing on a national scout team. So guys, without question, you have to be playing daddy ball, because daddy ball is where if your dad is one of the coaches, it's the easiest way to be able to be in the starting lineup, hit second or third, play shortstop, and be one of the star players. So without question, guys, if you're just on like a measly scout team, like there's not really going to be much traction. You're not going to really necessarily get in front of the right eyeballs. You're probably not going to play college baseball. So like without a doubt, if I had to choose, daddy ball, hands down. All right, that was more of like a joke, guys, but always fun. All right, next up, we're gonna go with exit velocity versus batting average. All right, which would you rather, having a high exit velocity or high batting average? So this is always coming into the equation with college recruiting and what to include, especially in our emails. So having a high batting average, let's just call it in high school, yes, it's important, but it's not as important as you'd think. Exit velocity, on the other hand, is what's known as a metric, right? So ideally, when we can, we want to make sure that we're providing as many metrics to these college coaches, right? This, is a stat. Your average is a stat. Exit velocity is a metric. It's basically, this is black and white. If you hit an exit velocity of 100 miles an hour, you hit an exit velocity of 100 miles an hour. If your batting average is 400, okay, well now we have to think about it. What kind of competition is that against? So it's important to include really both, but if you had to choose one, what I instruct a lot of my students to do is just go with exit velocity at first, because again, stats are kind of irrelevant. Stats without metrics don't really matter. So again, the thing that's really pulling the most weight is the metric. So I would rather having a higher exit velocity, because it shows basically overall bat speed. Exit velocity, it shows that you can get it done. Of course, the average will come if you are a hard hitter, and there's also correlations that we got to see in professional baseball the higher the exit velocity, the better chances you'll have a higher average. So again, hands down, exit velocity if I had to choose. All right, let's keep it going, guys. Let's keep it going. You guys are doing great today. But if you guys have any baseball-related questions, feel free to always ask, because that's, again, what I am doing these for. All right, let's get into the next one. All right, which would you rather, a D1 defensive replacement, meaning you don't really play a lot, or playing every single day at a D2? So this is a very common question that I get just about every single day from parents, families, players on what they should decide in the whole college recruiting game, because there might be a couple of offers on the table and you don't know which one you should choose. So in my opinion, what will give you the best opportunity to succeed is probably not what you think. I think being a defensive replacement at the D1 level, especially maybe your freshman and sophomore year, it's okay to be in the environment of star-studded players. Now, is it okay to be a defensive replacement all 4 years? Absolutely not. Go where you're going to be able to play and start every single game, ideally in your junior and senior year. But if you can get into the room, if you can get on the team when you're basically pulled up to the level of the competition that you surround yourself, that's where I think if you are basically down here and everyone else is right here, you're going to be pulled up this way. And I would much rather it than the opposite, right? Where you're right here, the rest of the competition's down here, and you might even find yourself playing down to the competition. So again, put yourself in the environment to be able to grow, not necessarily succeed today. If you really think about it, okay, well, you might not play every single day at the big league level. Think about this one, because this one's a fun conversation to put this into perspective. Would you rather play every single day in AAA or be a defensive replacement in the big leagues? I think everyone without question would choose the big leagues, because obviously that is going to give you a really thick paycheck every single 2 weeks, but also you're in the big leagues, right? Who wants to be in AAA being a defensive replacement, right? So think about these things, or who wants to be in AAA even starting every single day? So keep that in mind. You want to be able to be in that room to elevate you, not necessarily where you're going to be playing down to the competition. Hopefully that one makes sense, because that's something that, of course, like, makes sense to me. Maybe it doesn't make sense to you. So it's always important to know where you guys are at with kind of some takeaways if you guys have them. But let's get into the next one. All right, this or that, utility player or sticking to one position. Guys, this is probably one of the misconceptions in college recruiting, where you feel the nerve to be able to tell a college coach, hey, I can play first base, I can play second base, I can play shortstop, I can play third base, I can play right field, and basically I can play center field, and you know what, I can be a catcher, right? And this is a type of email that you might send to a college coach under the positions section. And you might boast about this, thinking that this is doing something to help you, when in reality, this is actually hurting you more than you know. Sticking to one primetime position is going to help you out more than anything. Primetime positions ideally stick in the middle of the field, right? So if that's the field, we want to be sticking in the middle of the field. So center field, shortstop, or second base, ideally pitcher or catcher. Not saying there's no value in a first baseman or a third baseman, but typically at the college level, you'll typically have 4 shortstops playing all infield position. One shortstop will play first, one shortstop will play second, one shortstop will play short, and one shortstop will play third. Typically, that's how college coaches will recruit high school players, and ideally, it comes from that primetime position. Now, there's still room for a first baseman, a left-handed hitter that absolutely smashes the ball, but ideally, we want athletes at that college level. College coaches want athletes as well. So ideally just listing 1, maybe 2 if you pitch as well. So that's where, like, for me, I was more of a right-handed pitcher. I always put that one as my primary. And then I put the slash and then shortstop. Primetime position, also primetime position. I wasn't super developed as a shortstop in high school, but I was more developed as a pitcher, and that's actually what got me into the door at NC State. But what helped me actually get drafted, believe it or not, was me playing a good third base. So who you are today is not who you will become tomorrow. All right, guys. All right. We are killing these this or that. I actually really enjoy these. If you guys are interested, I can always do a player profile. I did one for Dylan Deere earlier, and of course, if you guys have any questions about where you're currently at, the best way for me to give you any advice is to be able to understand truly where you're currently at with your metrics. So this is what I would need out of you. I would need quite literally your graduation year, position, 60-yard dash, arm velocity, and exit velocity. And if you guys want, feel free to drop that down below in the chat. As I'm waiting for you guys to drop that down below in the chat, I'm going to quickly run this quick clip.
Real quick, if you have a son in 10th, 11th, or 12th grade who wants to play college baseball, listen up. At the Mendoza Baseball Academy, I built a triple play with the physical development, mental toughness, and a recruiting system that gets players noticed. And it's 100% remote. So no missed school, no wasted travel, just real results from home while your son works one-on-one with me. Click the link below to learn more and book a call with either myself or a team member today. Real quick, if you have a son in 10th, 11th, or 12th grade
And we are back. Yeah, guys. Hopefully everyone's having a great Monday. I feel like a lot of you guys might be at like practice right now, which is, it's okay. It's okay. You don't have to be spending all your time here with me. But no, this is dude, everyone in here, understand this. You can only play high school baseball for a certain amount of time, right? And I want to make sure that you guys are ultra aware of this, because if you're not aware, things will start to sneak up on you, and that's not going to be ideal for anyone. So the biggest thing that I can share with you guys is like, make sure that you spend good quality time understanding where you want to go. And what I mean by that is, if you don't understand where you want to go, sit back one afternoon, one lazy Sunday, and just close your eyes. Think to yourself, where do I want to be in 4, 5, 6 years? Do I want to be playing baseball? Do I want to have a job? Do I want to get into a skill like plumbing or whatever the case may be? I don't know. But like, what is it that you want? Do you want to go to school and just do school? These are the conversations that I need you to have by yourself before, of course, you bring them up to your parents. Have those conversations with your parents as well, but ultimately be an adult. Understand that you need to think and talk about your dreams and goals. And if you don't ever think about your dreams and goals, they're probably not going to ever come to light, right? So this is kind of like the manifestation of like making the world with what you want it to be. But at the end of the day, guys, you have to understand time is limited when you're in high school. This is not the time to like joke around. Like, yes, you are a teenager, you can have fun, you can hang out with your friends, that's all fine, but understand that there are going to be players that sacrifice those things, meaning they're not going to buy into that, they're not going to care about those things as much, because what they truly care about, guess what? It's playing college baseball. So hopefully you are in that mindset of like, hey, I want to play college baseball, I'm going to do what it takes to play college baseball. Not everyone has that mindset though, unfortunately. I want you to, of course, have that mindset, because if you have that mindset, it's only going to help you so much more in the whole college recruiting game and everything. So just keep that in mind, guys. Making sure that you like prioritize with what you've got going around in your high school baseball journey. At the end of the day, it is a journey, and I want to make sure that you utilize it to the best of your ability. I don't want you to think back on like, oh, I wish I could have done this differently, or I wish I tried harder. Believe it or not, I've actually come across a comment on one of my reels recently. It was with Paul Skeens and Tarek Skubel talking about how many offers that they got in the whole recruiting process when they were in high school. And I think in total between the two, they only had like 2 offers, or maybe 3 in total. Wild, right? But there was someone that commented below that video, and it was a guy. It looked like he was in his early 20s, maybe mid 20s, just based off his profile picture. I didn't really look into him that much, but the comment was kind of shocking. It was, I wish I'm gonna probably butcher it, but I wish I just took it a little bit more serious and just saw what could have happened. And it makes me think, like, that is the life that a lot of high school baseball players will unfortunately live. Is I wish I maybe could have tried a little bit harder, because I don't know what could have happened, and who knows, right? But again, if you never try, if you never do, like, it's going to be very difficult for you to, get that opportunity to be able to even play college baseball. So just keep these things in mind, guys. Like, if you never try, you're never going to know. And I think some people get lost in the possibility of like not playing college baseball and how hard it will be, and that's the thing that demotivates you. don't let that demotivate you guys. Just enjoy, the time that you do play high school baseball, but understand like nothing great comes from hoping that you're going to be able to play college baseball. You have to actually put in the work, and that's what's going to ultimately move the needle for you, to get you to that next step. You can't be doing what you've been doing, because ultimately it's got you to exactly where you are today, and where you are today is not where you want to go. So kind of want to just like leave you with that, because I do have to start prepping for a call here in about 10 minutes. And I want to make sure that I'm prepared for that. And the reason why I also prepare, guys, I like to do like a good 5 to 10 minutes of research of who the player is that I'm speaking to on my eligibility reviews. I know a lot of high school baseball players and parents might be listening in right now, but ultimately I want to know who I'm speaking to. I want to see if you have a perfect game. I want to see if you have a field level. I want to see if you have a PBR. I want to see if you have a NCSA profile, right? Like I want to see these things. I want to see also where your metrics lie right now. And ultimately, that's the whole process. So if you are listening to this, you can always apply to work one-on-one with me over on the link in my bio over on Instagram. If you are more just curious on what I do and who I am, you can always watch like the video that's down below in the description. And once you do that, the very first link, by the way, it's going to take you over to my website. You'll watch the video, and then you'll basically move on to the next step. You'll apply, and then basically after applying, that's going to be where you're able to schedule out an eligibility review, which is where we'll talk through basically an action plan of getting you the resources that you ultimately will need, if you need them. Not every single high school baseball player qualifies to work with us, guys. Keep that in mind. Not every single high school. And this is the difference in a lot of players out there and parents, and understanding like how these academies work and how these recruiters work. Guys, if I took on every single person that I spoke to in the past 2.5 years that I've been doing the Mendoza Baseball Academy, there would be a lot of players that did not see results. And it has nothing to do with me. And I can honestly say that because I know that I've been showing up every single day. I'm a consistent person. I put myself out there, and I help my players. That's the guarantee I always put with any student that joins into my program. The thing is, there have been players that just absolutely without a doubt would not be able to see the results because they don't know how to communicate. Their head's not screwed on the right way. They're not motivated enough, right? Like the player needs to be motivated. And these are the things that I always look for with all of my players that we're hopping on Zoom calls with, because ideally the next step is a Zoom call to better understand like where your son's currently at, where he's trying to go, and seeing if I can even help you guys out with that game plan. But like if I let every single player join into my program, we would be having a lot of players that just honestly didn't see the results. And I'm not here to give you guys, workout programs and say, hey, let's have a lot of fun. I'm here to give you guys results. And ultimately the result is improving your metrics and playing in college. And that's exactly what I help my players out with. Basically giving guys the best opportunity to be able to play in college and things like that. Clyde, last question before I do have to jump. How do I get better hand-eye coordination? Dude, this is where, like, honestly, for me, it came easy. But, like, I love playing wall ball. I love using racket balls to, like, increase the bounciness off of my hand. But, like, there's so many different ways that you can go about it. I loved juggling. I loved, basically, when I would lay down in bed, I would throw the ball up in the sky. I would do quick hands where it would basically bounce off of, like, the palm, and I would do like a quick hand basically, and I would catch the ball. Like little things like this go a long way with hand-eye coordination. If we're talking about more hand-eye coordination on the aspect of like hitting the ball, and like that's more like barrel control, that's going to be coming from more or less the aspect of like wanting to make sure that you have the right process in place for just like tee work, soft toss. I honestly love wiffle ball. I also used, what was it? I think it was like pinto beans. So basically think like, and very Dominican thing to do, right? Small, tiny beans, uncooked, of course, throw them up, and that's what you use instead of a ball, and use a broomstick. That's a great drill to use. Very Dominican. It will be very difficult at first, but you'll realize the more you muscle up does not help you hit that bean, right? Or hit the ball, hit the object. So there's a million different drills to help you with these things. That's honestly what a lot of the Dominicans do, because that's what helps them out, and that's what helps them see the baseball coming at them at 98 miles an hour in the show. But Cool, guys. Well, like I said, I do have to start prepping for a call here in a few minutes. Guys, if you are interested in working one-on-one with me, you can always click the link down below in the description to learn a little bit more about my program. If you're over on Instagram, click the link in my bio to learn a little bit more about my triple play program. Just make sure you watch that full video so you get a better understanding of who I am and what my program is all about. And then basically on the next page, you'll be able to book a call with myself if you are a good fit. So, all right, guys, well, that wraps up today's episode of the Mendoza Line. Again, we are streaming every single day at 7 p.m. Eastern time on weekdays. All of these recordings are uploaded over to YouTube, so I've made it really easy for you guys. On my Instagram profile, there's a YouTube highlight. Just go ahead and click that button. It has the YouTube play button, and it's going to take you over to my YouTube channel. Go subscribe to me over on YouTube if you haven't already. I also live stream over on YouTube as well. Again, the power of YouTube is that's where every one of these lives will be uploaded. So just keep that in mind, and I will see you on the next one.
I could see how he became more confident after talking to you every time. You were always there when he needed. I think it's really important to know or be told from someone professional like you.
It was a completely new experience for us. I think we were skeptical. We dove into some of the content. We realized how good it was and the quality of it. The way that you kind of worked with him and you set expectations for him. Like, hey, these are the things I'm expecting from you. And that was a big part of why we enjoyed the program as well.
The program has made me like a little eagerness to go out and do something and not just like wait for the team practice and do things on my own.
As his dad, I can tell him till I'm blue in the face that this needs to be done. And sometimes it doesn't resonate coming from the dad. Sometimes it needs to come from a pro ball player.
Through your program, I just realized like how much more I could learn. I could just feel the improvement over the course like of 4 or 5 months, like you said. With you being able to supply me with this type of structure, I'm able to just learn for myself and learn how to improve by myself, which makes me feel a lot better as well as a lot more accomplished in the end.
I definitely recommend joining it. It's awesome. The community's great. Having you there to support you is incredible, and overall love the program.
You get the full structure. You get your lifting, you get your arm velocity, you get your mechanics, you get your hitting, and the hands-on approach from you.
Infield velo was 68 or something like that. It was not good. My 60-yard dash was 7.7, which is not good. And I was not very mobile. I wasn't very strong. I mean, I'm a big kid, but a lot of it was just like from my size. My infield velo now is 80, and my 60-yard dash is 70.
It's insane. What was the root cause for all that?
I mean, it was just staying consistent with the program. I think I had to really stay on, focus on the